Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. It's our WWE Night of Champions review. Want to say thanks to all the Friendos for joining us for the live stream. We did, of course, as always, with the Saudi Arabia show, as a charity stream this time for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, I think it is.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, yes.
Right. And we've already blasted past our goal, so thanks to everybody.
Thank you so much
for that.
Thank you,
of course, the big news here coming out of Night of Champions, Jimmy Uso and I've sort of being forced into the situation, Jey Uso as well, have turned on Roman Reigns, costing Roman and Solo those tag team championships. Wildly dramatic scene. It was one of those moments, one of those big moments in a story that, after a little cool off after WrestleMania, has really picked up a ton of steam and fresh momentum heading into the summertime. What are your thoughts on how that main event played out?
You know, I thought it played out wonderfully. The story beats at the end were fantastic. I think in a lot of ways, I think a lot of people, including myself, thought maybe it was going to be Jey who'd be the one to finally snap and go off on Roman. But as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, especially after SmackDown, Jimmy has been humiliated by Roman consistently. And it's Jey who's always been trying to play peacekeeper just because he's trying to protect his brother. That's his MO at this juncture, Jey's is. He just wants to protect his brother.
Yeah.
And that's been his the way he's been operating ever since Sammy left the Bloodline. Mm-hmm. He's just looking out for Jimmy. Mm-hmm. And seeing him, Jey, once again get put in a tight spot so let's backtrack and go over what happened. So match breaks down. Usos come in through the crowd, save Owens, or save Roman from Owens putting him through one of the announce tables. They get in the ring. They hit Sammy with a super kick. They look for another. He collapses. They super kick Solo right as Roman is kind of coming to and paying attention to what's going on in the ring. And so he just thinks, oh, you two just super kick Solo out of nowhere. He gets in the ring, pie faces Jimmy, and then Jey goes and says, we're on your side. We're with you. Mm-hmm. Roman pie faces him too. Mm-hmm. And then when Roman turns around, whoop-ha, super kick from Jimmy. And Jimmy's looking, Jey, he does the thing where he starts to bring his shoulders in and puts his head down, but he's kind of going back and forth between it. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy says to Jey, Jey tries to calm Jimmy down. Mm-hmm. And then Jimmy finally says, I'm doing what you should have done a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Super kicks Roman again. Roman rolls out of the ring. And eventually the Usos are like, we got to get out of here. So they leave. Mm-hmm. That leads to Sammy eventually getting the pin on Solo to get the win. You know, just a really well orchestrated story beat in this ongoing story. Once again, Jey is just caught in the middle of a situation where he doesn't know what to do.
You know, I love that you brought up Jey just trying to protect Jimmy, because that's what Jimmy did for Jey when Jey was so defiant back in 2021. When Jey and Roman had their feud, and Roman is all about, you need to acknowledge me. And Jey's like, where is this coming from? I'm not doing that. Jimmy was the one protecting Jey, having him fall in line. Well, now that's finally, after years, that's finally coming back to bite him in the ass. Now he understands what position Jey was in, except he has all the evidence to believe this can't continue. Yeah. Now I understand where you were coming from back then, Jey. And this is what you should have done. And he's probably thinking, I should have let you do it back then. I should have stood with you back then. Yep. And so he sees his brother getting pie-faced by Roman, and he lays him out. And he says, let's do it again. Yep. And so, yeah, just absolutely phenomenal storytelling here.
Another interesting aspect that we should talk about is Solo's role on all this. So Solo ate the inadvertent super kicks from the Usos. Because of what happened with the Usos, it cost Solo's his first opportunity to be a champion on the main roster. I don't know if you noticed this last night when Solo laid out Owens and Zayn. They did the bit with the tag titles. And eventually, as Roman gets all four of them, Solo shoots Roman a look of just absolute resentment, because Roman's like, hey, those tag titles you picked up, give them to me.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I want them all.
Okay, yeah.
And after all the work that Solo's been doing to help Roman stay on top, to not even give Solo that moment of holding the titles, even though they didn't win them, just to hold them in that moment, he was like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this is all building up to eventually Roman being all alone. And now it seems like the Usos gone from the bloodline.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess now the focus is going to be on how much longer is Solo going to stick around at this juncture?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, are they building up to Cody maybe taking on Roman at SummerSlam? Are they going to wait till WrestleMania? If the latter's the case, that's still 10 months.
You know, that's a great point. You sort of see it coming, but you're not going to believe it till it happens. I mean, they could have had Roman and Solo win these titles, and the Usos are in a whole other predicament. So I don't know how they don't pay off this storyline without Roman losing the Undisputed Championship. And that feels like it should come to a head at SummerSlam, to be honest with you. I mean, look, they have managed to make every premium live event, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. They call it premium live event. Every big show means something. And they do it with a combination of things, whether it's Backlash, where you have the focus on, Puerto Rican descent wrestlers, to make that feel like a big deal, or here where Sami Zayn is the first time he goes to Saudi Arabia, obviously means a lot to him, meant a lot to the crowd. Like they understood he was speaking in Arabic. He did his own introductions in Arabic, and the crowd was eating it up, and it made it feel like a big deal. And that, obviously we still are completely understanding what the Saudi Arabian government, is up to with all this. But, when you see the mini documentary of Sami Zayn going to Mecca, when you see, how much it means to him, when you see what it means to Ali to have that match against Gunther, you can't help but also understand that there is a human element to the wrestlers and what it means to them to visit this land. Can you debate the complexities of it? Sure, but we're not here to do that. My point is, they can make SummerSlam into a WrestleMania moment.
Oh yeah.
They can. Clash of the Castle could have been a WrestleMania level moment. And so it could happen at SummerSlam. People thought it might have happened at Elimination Chamber, for God's sakes. They could make SummerSlam that moment. They absolutely can, because they could just load up Philadelphia with another huge thing. So I think that it could come to a head at SummerSlam. I kind of feel like it's not going to be anywhere but a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam. I think it could definitely be SummerSlam, and the way this story is going. And look, I don't know. There was doubt that they could have continued this with any, real meat after WrestleMania, but clearly they have.
Yeah.
And so I think they could milk the story for more, but maybe there's an understanding that, hey, we need to take this to a crescendo, and SummerSlam really could be that moment where it all makes sense. But I don't know. Where do you see a natural landing spot for Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa versus the Usos? Because clearly that's going to be on the agenda.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to space things out, you could push that match to SummerSlam in theory. I know it's 2 months almost away. But as we've seen with this story, just when we kind of think, okay, they've kind of run out of fuel for this particular aspect, they find motorcycles drove by.
Baron Corbin.
They find ways to keep it going without really necessarily consistently, at least, feeling like it's spinning its wheels.
Right.
There'll be down weeks, of course, from time to time, but the push and pull within Jay, as far as, do I try to talk to Roman to keep us within the bloodline fold, because that's what I think I need to do to protect Jimmy from being obliterated by Roman, or do I just stand by my brother and face what's coming to me, because this is what I need to do? I need to rid myself of Roman. That alone, that battle within Jay, that's weeks of story they could tell there.
That could be an entire pay-per-view cycle.
It could be.
Yeah. So obviously up next, we've got Money in the Bank in London. And obviously the Usos don't need to be in that match. I know people could think that maybe Solo would want to be in Money in the Bank, but there's no need for that. He's Roman's lieutenant. So that's, a big deal going to London. I could see that match going down there, because there's still over a month left to do that. That seems like an obvious landing spot for that. And then In the meantime, I mean, I don't know in terms of whoever. Look, they could wait on Cody for because I'm trying to think like the idea that somebody could win Money in the Bank and lose at SummerSlam, but who big enough at going to Money in the Bank? Because obviously Cody and Brock, Hell in a Cell at Money in the Bank seems to be where they're headed, unless Cody goes to Money in the Bank and Brock costs him that, and they extend that out to a Hell in a Cell.
That's entirely possible. Yeah,
at SummerSlam. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a possibility as well.
That is a possibility. I don't know. I mean, it's good that we have a storyline where we're thinking, okay, we more or less know how it's going to end. We know Roman's going to eventually alienate every member of the Bloodline, and he's going to be walking to whether it's WrestleMania or SummerSlam alone and lose those titles.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, exactly.
And at the end of this, he's going to be faced with every single mistake he made along the way.
Mm-hmm.
We know that's where it's going to end. We just don't know how we're going to get there. We don't know the story beats we're necessarily going to hit on the way. Like we don't know what's going to lead Solo to leaving the Bloodline. Yeah. Is it going to be his brothers saying, "Look at how you're being manipulated. Look how poorly." I mean, relative to the Usos, Solo's been treated pretty well by Roman. Mm-hmm. But now that we're not here, all the stuff that got dumped on us is going to get dumped on you now, Solo.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And we've already sensed the resentments you have towards Roman, towards using you to keep him on top without you really enjoying any of the benefit from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it going to be something like that, or is it going to be literally Roman doing what he did to the Usos?
Yeah.
Pushing them away? I don't know, but there's a lot to work with there. I'm invested in it, and we'll see where it goes. And
there is still the element of Sami Zayn, because clearly, as Kevin Owens indicated, he's called and on SmackDown, he has sort of, prognosticated all this, to perfection. And him being so overly into Roman's face at the end of the show saying, "You want these, but you can't have these." And Roman, it looked like it probably was sweat. It looked like he wiped away a tear, like he was distraught. And so there's plenty to mind there. There's Roman 2 weeks ago wanted to say something to Sami, but didn't get the opportunity. Is there still more there? And, don't discount the possibility of, it not being Cody to take the titles off Roman. They might take one of the players. Kevin Owens still has beef with, he feels like he should have cut short this reign of Roman's ages of years ago. There's a number of ways that they can let this play out. And like you said, we don't know what it is, but if the quality continues, if the attention to detail and the attention to long-term storytelling, because of what we're talking about with the Jimmy J situation going back years, if that continues, there's a lot of compelling story they still have left in the Bloodline. This story is not done. No. And I think there's a lot more awesome moments like tonight that we still might have ahead of us.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's talk about another bout that I think between us, although I think to a degree you're being tongue-in-cheek about your reception of it, that was more divisive. I'm talking about Cody versus Brock Lesnar. The best thing I can say about it is at least Cody didn't win, because if he had won in the fashion that match was wrestled, it would have been like, in my mind going into it, kind of the worst case scenario where they make Cody. And listen, I understand there's probably like you mentioned this during the show, this probably plays great with kids. The Cody stuff. It probably does.
It does. Yeah.
I'm sure it does.
And but I'm nothing but an overgrown child, which is why I love it.
Well, you understand how kind of over the top and cheesy it is, and you can appreciate it for that, because
1,000%.
If he had won the match after everything he went through leading up and including what happened to him during the match, you run the risk of alienating maybe not a huge portion of your Cody fan base, but possibly some of them, because it's too much. It's a bit too much.
But he didn't.
I know he didn't.
He passed out. But they were totally on the precipice. And yes, I appreciate the absurdity of wrestling sometimes. And I would much rather have a line spoken tonight that I fixated on and I think is marvelous and so over the top bad. And that's what I love about when pro wrestling strays in that area. I can appreciate the Bloodline stuff because, my God, it's really well done. It's actually, it's good storytelling. I can appreciate the cheese of Michael Cole yelling, Brock Lesnar might have made a tactical error in breaking Cody Rhodes' arm because Cody Rhodes' exocast was made of titanium, which he then used as a weapon. That is the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life, but it just fits. It's kind of why I would actually, I don't know, probably prefer to keep the Roman stuff and the Cody stuff completely separate because they are two different forms of storytelling.
Yes.
They really are. There's the over the top, this guy's supposed to be an underdog, but he's able to use a broken arm as a weapon. How does that even make sense?
It doesn't make any sense.
Clearly it doesn't. Although Cowboy Bob, but there's a precedent there.
Cowboy Bob was a heel though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. But so was, Hulk Hogan was a good guy too. And look at how much he cheated. It's like when you're up against an unstoppable force like Brock Lesnar, but the idea, the reality of having your broken arm in a cast,
titanium and reinforced.
It's like, that don't make any sense, man. Come on. But it does make for good entertainment for me. But no, he got the pass out loss, showing us some grit. And then this will go to probably Hell in a Cell, I would imagine. Maybe some sort of last man standing.
Yeah. Last man standing would make sense. Yeah. Or an I quit type bout, something along those years. Yeah. It was just, I know. There's certain aspects of the cheesier parts of pro wrestling that I could appreciate. This didn't speak to me whatsoever.
It is very interesting because it's not like Hulk Hogan was universally loved. I'm sure that there are plenty of people who are more savage, Randy Savage guys back in the day, and saw Hulk Hogan for what he was, a cheating bastard. Yeah. Because even when he was a good guy, he would bully refs. He was a cheating bastard. And this is that. Cody Rhodes, and it goes back to AEW. It goes back to the Face of the Revolution ladder match or whatever that one was, where the cameras would not leave Cody Rhodes, and that guy was running creative of his own stuff back then. And you are clearly on the anti-Cody in that way, shape, and form, I think.
His approach to storytelling does not speak to me personally.
Right. Yeah.
That's what it is.
And I love the absurdity of it. And I like to see those kind of characters because I do think that there is a fan base. Clearly, look, dude, clearly this WWE fan base of Cody's, they're not going away anytime soon.
No.
And I love to see it. I think it's wildly entertaining. So it'll be interesting to see what the general, sentiment is. If there's a factor of fan who's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I kind of don't see that happening. I get the feeling if you're already thinking Cody's not that guy, then this is just going to play more into that.
Yeah.
And if you've been on the Cody train for this long, you'll be fine with what you saw.
Because you probably appreciates Cody work because of stuff like this.
Yeah.
More often than not. Yeah. Let's talk about one more surprising development in the show before we get to the match by match breakdown. Going into this, we were kind of curious why they decided to do the rematch between Bianca and Asuka, given that, Bianca got the win at WrestleMania, and not really, given that there wasn't much story leading into either bout,
right? Not
putting a whole lot of credence to the idea that maybe Asuka could walk out of the show as champion, but sure enough, she did.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering if the reason they hadn't done the belt trade yet is because they wanted Bianca to hold on to the Raw Women's title to best Trish's 447-day reign as WWE Women's Champion in the early aughts. But nope, they had her lose to Asuka. There's a really clever spot where Asuka used the mist and escaped to KOD because of it and got the win.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I felt like, maybe because the mist was such the story leading into this, Bianca dodged it. Right now, it just felt like, number one, I love this. I love Bianca needs to be chasing. She really does. It's how you build up your baby faces. I love this because of that reason. However, I honestly didn't see them doing it because it seemed like they were just sort of putting, roadblock after roadblock after roadblock specifically for Bianca to smash through those roadblocks. And we've seen this, her performance at WrestleMania, her smashing the record. They did the Trish record. You have a really good point on. I kind of felt like because they had the celebration that like that record was what they wanted.
Yeah.
But I honestly, honest to God, I felt like they were going to do the thing where, the mist getting into the face, that's the next obstacle for her to simply overcome and she'd hit a blind KOD. And that might be what happens next. I don't know. I hope that Asuka has a lengthy run with the title just because I really love Asuka.
Yeah, Asuka's great.
But yeah, a little bit, I thought it was a little bit surprising that they did this because it seemed to be, lull Bianca wins, whether you're on board with that or not. It did seem to be like that was their MO, but seemingly they're interested in having her chase. And I think that's a great move, makes for a more interesting story for Bianca.
Yeah, it is. Actually, one more thing before we get to the match by match breakdown. No surprise here. Seth Rollins, your World Heavyweight Champion.
Opening match, Seth had to get back and shoot more MCU stuff. It was followed by Becky's match with Trish, which was also really good.
Yeah, it was a really good bout.
But yeah, you could sort of see AJ came out in his normal gear, and Seth had just immaculate, a big like cheetah print or leopard print, whatever it was, over the top jacket, and then just some beautiful like teal in that same print with some rhinestones all over it.
Some gold on there too. It was pretty amazing. The
title looks amazing on him. And it's going to be interesting to see how they differentiate his reign from Roman's reign. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting to see if they aim for like a record or because they seem to be all about records, or if they're going to be a bit more interesting with this in terms of passing the title around a little bit more. It remains to be seen.
Yeah, it does. It does remain to be seen. To be seen. This, as long as there's interesting stories, and that's kind of the most important thing, whether Seth holds the title for 2 years or 2 months.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get to the actual breakdown, let's go ahead and pay some bills, Larson. What do you say?
Let's do it. Let's take a quick break here, get a word from our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. So, Steve.
Yeah.
I know I've been telling you all week about some of the random accidents that I've had throughout my life, like getting into a car wreck because someone turned in front of me, or getting attacked by a stray dog when I thought I was trying to lead it back to its home, or even pulling a muscle playing a non-contact sport, that being bowling.
Yeah, you're kind of a mess, man. You've lived a life of absolute, and I mean total clumsiness. You're the tribal chief of clumsiness.
Well, thank you, I guess. But, accidents happen, and that's the point. And while I've been lucky to never gotten seriously hurt due to these various mishaps, accidents can happen at any time, and you can be injured because of those accidents when you least expect it. And if you're ever injured, you can check out America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan has a proven record of getting their clients full and fair compensation. They've recovered more than $15 billion for their clients.
That's right. Morgan & Morgan has over 100 offices nationwide, and you can submit your claim in 8 clicks or less. That's more like ordering takeout than hiring a lawyer, and you can do it without getting off your couch. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/raw or dial #law, pound 529. That's #law, pound 529 from your cell phone.
That's forthepeople.com/raw or #law, pound 529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement.
So, like we said before, it started off with AJ Styles versus Seth freaking Rollins. By the way, shout out to Chris Garrix for the notes once again.
Thanks,
he does
Chris.
An absolute wonderful job with these notes, man. Every single time. He's real top tier stuff. Anyways, it kicked off with Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. I mean, look, man, if they wanted the best night the best match that could be put on for this, I think they did the right thing with AJ versus Seth. It just would have been nice if I had any inkling of an idea that AJ was gonna that AJ could win this thing.
By that measure, I guess. I mean, the technical aspects of doing the moves in creative and interesting ways is one aspect of the match. There's also the storytelling aspect of a match, and if the story, the end, and there's no intrigue.
Yeah,
I guess in that sense, it's not really the best matchup.
I agree. I don't disagree. I still think Edge would have been a superior story.
Yeah.
But in terms of having like the best technical match that they could have, I get the philosophy behind it.
It's hard. It's hard to do better than Seth versus AJ because they're both phenomenal professional wrestlers. Yes, I understand that aspect totally. And it was a really good bout. Mm-hmm. It was really, really good.
We even had a bit where AJ did the one of Seth's finishers on him. He did the pedigree on Seth. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he tried to do the second rope Styles Clash, but Seth escaped that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So down towards the finish, both men in the middle of the ring, they're trading shots. AJ gets the upper hand. Seth hits an enziguri. AJ looks for the Pele kick, misses. Seth hits him with a kick to the face, and then Seth stomps AJ's hand, looks for a pedigree. AJ escapes that, looks for a Styles Clash. Seth escapes that. AJ hits a Pele kick. Then he hits a pedigree. Seth kicks out. The stomp to the hand was interesting because I don't recall it playing into the finish of the match whatsoever.
No, once you mentioned that, I started actually paying attention to AJ and what
maybe
he did with his
idea
hand.
was that Seth was going for the stomp and AJ dodged it with his head and he got hand instead. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't know, but it didn't play into the
It didn't play into the finish of the match. Earlier in the bout, Seth goes for a suicide dive, hits it, and tweaks his knee, so that plays into the finish a little bit here. So AJ's looking for a phenomenal forearm. Seth evades it. AJ punches him a few times, goes for another forearm. Seth counters with a super kick. Seth sets up for a stomp, but his knee gives out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So AJ puts on a calf crusher. Rollins escapes that, hits a pedigree, and then follows with a stomp to get the win.
Yeah. Really good match, but it was just a bit of a foregone conclusion there. After the match, the game of games, Triple H carries the belt into the ring. I don't know where he was. He was just hanging out, I guess.
He's hiding under the ring.
It was kind of cool. They had like a couple. They spotlighted a couple different wrestlers.
He was under the ring, taking the Triple H photo with the belt under the ring.
He was like, "The belt. I got to put my. It's all grainy,
Yeah,
not a lot of light.
Low light,
Yeah, exactly.
Under the ring.
Anyways, they spotted throughout the night. Amos,
Street Profits,
and Street Profits. They're all sort of spotlighted in the crowd, watching the proceedings.
Yes.
It looked like as well, this belt, and this is nerdy as hell, looks like the belt might have had actual buttons instead of Velcro.
Yeah, it's a nice detail.
Mm-hmm. I like the buttons, man.
It's something about when they take the belt off and you hear the rip of Velcro.
It's like you got one of them wallets from the 80s. Like,
yeah,
what are you, 10 years old?
You got the shoes with the Velcro on them.
It's like, yeah, my kid can't tie her shoes, so you have to do the Velcro, So, anyways. After that, we had Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. Becky had on that awesome Kill Bill / Game of Death, depending on how old you are, really, or what your knowledge of movie history is. Kill Bill or Game of Death, whichever one. Becky probably got it from Kill Bill. That's why I always just say it's Kill Bill.
But then Tarantino got it from Game of Death.
He did, yeah. Anyways, I thought this was a phenomenal match. I thought that Trish Stratus kept up with Becky Lynch through and through. A little bit surprised. I know you weren't. I was a little bit surprised with the outcome of the match. Pleasantly surprised, though, given how it went down. I figured this would be one of them Triple H things where Becky wins, but then Trish immediately gets the heat back. It goes the attack. But no, Zoe Stark recently called up to the Raw roster with not really a lot to do, which we had complained about. Has seemingly, again, also under there, across the ring from where Triple H probably was, was under the ring. And she gave her finish to Becky while the ref was distracted. And then put her in there. Seemingly, I think it was either that or Trish's kick. I don't know which one it was, but busted up Becky. She was bleeding from the nose after that.
Yeah, she was.
And then Trish picked up the win over Becky Lynch.
Yeah, it was around the time that Trish was coming back. There was some rumors that they were going to have this feud and it was going to last a couple shows. And so I just thought, well, if it's going to last a couple shows, the Trish has got to get a win here, and it made sense for her to get the initial win, then to motivate further matches.
For sure,
I didn't expect. I expect Trish to cut a corner or cheat to get the win since she's a heel, but I didn't necessarily expect her to align with NXT call up Zoe Stark. But yeah, you're right. This match was a lot of fun. The pace was great. Didn't let up the whole time. So let's go back a little bit before the finish itself. So Trish hits Kiki James, gets a 2 with that. And then so eventually Becky shortly thereafter gets a disarmor on. Trish has to grab Becky's hair to break it up. And so the ref gets between them to separate them. So then Becky rolls up Trish, gets a 2, looks for hits a manhandle slam right near the ropes. Trish gets her foot on the rope. And so Trish rolls out of the ring and is like starting to crawl under the ring. Becky pulls her out. And then that's when Zoe Stark makes her appearance as Trish gets back in the ring, hits the Z360, puts Becky back in the ring, and then Trish hits Stratisfaction to get the win.
Yeah. No, really good match, like you said. The meat of it, the finish, getting Zoe, getting that Trish rub there, being next to her, part of it. Again, we said earlier, there need to be more women's factions. And I don't know if this is going to be a full-on faction or just, sort of her lieutenant, her enforcer, her partner, whatever. I don't know what. But I like to see it because it wraps more women into a prominent storyline.
Exactly.
And I think that's what they need to do more of. Exactly.
Agreed 1,000%. So, yeah, Becky's bleeding from the nose as Trish celebrates up the ramp. And then we get this really good video package of Mustafa Ali going to Mecca. And you can tell it meant a lot, as he described it, meant a lot, that moment for him. So that was pretty cool to see.
That was really awesome, yeah. So then, of course, that led to that match, the Intercontinental Championship, Gunther versus Mustafa Ali, who, by the way, was wearing some immaculate gear. It's just absolutely beautiful stuff. It was like shiny red and gold.
Yeah,
and it had me thinking for a second, Are they gonna do this? I didn't really think that, but I was like, maybe they'll do it. It wouldn't shock me if they did it.
Yeah. When he went up for the second 450, I was like,
maybe, right? Yeah, remember you said that. You're like, are they gonna do this? Maybe they'll do it. Didn't do it. He got out of the way. Drop kick. Of course, there's all sorts of chops and great bits in this match. Afterwards, Ali goes up for another 450. Gunther hits a big drop kick, big power bomb, gets the win. What was the time? Oh, it ended up being 8:35, 8 minutes 35 seconds on this one.
Around 8:35.
Got to be happy they didn't do the 1 minute squash thing.
No, we got that later though.
We got that later. Yeah.
This match, later match, yes, got the 1 minute squash. Great showing for Ali. Would have liked to be 12 minutes because he could have got more stuff in because he's a phenomenal wrestler.
More hope spots.
More hope spots for Ali. Based on what we saw on Raw and the video package from this show, I wonder if they're going to kind of pivot away from the positive Ali stuff, maybe?
I certainly hope so. I hope that wasn't simply for this moment. It wasn't for just the crowd. On the other hand, the positive Ali stuff, I haven't really been a big fan of it, but it's kept him on TV.
It has.
In terms of what's next, so he's on Raw.
He's on Raw, yeah.
I mean, dude, I don't know, man. He should probably go to he should probably go to SmackDown
just had the draft,
somehow. So... I know, but go after that US title. I don't know. I don't know what else you do on Raw besides tell good stories with him, sure, but seemingly without like a gimmick, they haven't been able to do that.
I know.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him.
I don't know either. Like genuine Mustafa Ali is like such he's someone you can get behind so easily because we've seen it happen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
so easily. Yeah, he's someone that's so easy to root for.
Oh, he's a free agent. He's on him and Dolph. Remember, they were a free agent brand.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Head over
SmackDown.
to
SmackDown.
That U.S. title on Austin Theory.
Yeah. Beat Austin Theory for it.
Mm-hmm.
So after that match, Gunther celebrates with the title. We're backstage. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn are talking. Sami says, "This is crazy. Everything since WrestleMania. This is more than we ever expected. What a run. Even if it ended tonight." And Kevin Owens says, "Well, why would it end?" Sami says, "Well, we have to acknowledge that Roman is celebrating 1,000 days as champion once more, and you have to admit he finds a way." And Owens he starts getting a little cranky with Sami. He's like, "You're right, but here's the other thing that he needs to acknowledge: we beat the Usos, and the Usos are a better team than Solo and Roman. I'm sick of hearing about him. He had 1,000 days, and tonight is our night. Tonight, Solo loses. Tonight, Roman loses. Yeah? Sammy shakes his head. Yeah.
But the look on his face is like, I don't know. The
Yeah.
doubt, given, again, it goes back to that one promo where Sami Zayn was saying, I think it was the Cody promo. He was like, I've been in there with him. Yeah. I know how it works. And you're never prepared. Even though you see it from the inside, you're never prepared for it.
Yep.
And so he has that experience, and it's going to be interesting to see how Sammy now, what his perception of Roman is now that they do have an actual win over Roman. So yeah, that's been really, really good stuff. Even Sammy, you could tell, doubted that they could pull this off. After that, LA Knight. The crowd loves LA Knight. Everybody loves LA Knight. When are they going to push this guy?
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. Yeah. We see a video package of WWE, and they the Make-A-Wish stuff, the first wishes in Saudi Arabia they did. So that was cool. After that, we had Asuka versus Bianca Belair. So, of course, obviously, as we said, the Mist played a big role in this. And, in fact, Asuka went for the Mist once and missed the Mist.
Missed to the Mist.
Yeah. Waited for the ref to be distracted, tried for that, and Bianca was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, the second time she had an opportunity to miss, she made sure she didn't miss because she missed her hand.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. You see that? She goes and stumbles into a KOD, and she gets her up there, gets Bianca in the eyes with the KOD, and she lets her down. And then Asuka hits a kick, two kicks. I think it was one to the back of the head and one to the side of the head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
to get the win. The spot where Asuka misses the mist the first time, leads you to believe, all right, she's used her mist for the match. No mist left.
Yeah,
and then when she's down there, kind of in the corner, and you can see she has the mist in her mouth, and then she kind of looks back up at the ref and on her hand to get the mist on there. Yeah, it was a clever spot, and kind of letting Bianca hoist her up for the KOD, only to gouge her in the eyes with the mist-covered fingers. Clever stuff. It was good.
Absolutely. Yeah, if Bianca no-sold that or hit the KOD still with the, it'd be like, okay, come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
It's like if Cody had beat Brock.
Which seemed like a distinct possibility at several moments. I'm going to be honest with you.
It really did. Well, here's the thing, though. Brock made a tactical error in breaking Cody Rhodes' arm. Oh, you got a lot.
I mean, do you think Brock knew that they apparently make casts with titanium in it? Because I don't. I didn't know that. I don't actually think that's a real thing.
I don't think that's the thing. I probably not, because I don't think that's real. I think that's somebody real in here said
those particular because not even a cast. It's like a wrist brace that goes up to the middle of your forearm that you kind of Velcro on. It looked like. Yeah. I mean, he had his arm taped up underneath. But yeah, I mean, usually there's some sort of splint or something in there, so you can't move your wrist. But as far as usually you pull the metal out of those things, guess what? You can bend it with your own hands, I
really wish that they had just kayfabed what kind of metal it was. It's like Marvel has vibranium and adamantium.
Yeah.
Codymanium. I don't know. You got to kayfabe some fake metal. Oh my God, this exocast is made with codymanium.
I know, and it's like he has his own forge in his garage in Atlanta.
Right, exactly.
He cast this cast himself. He's
great.
See him there hammering the thing.
Right. Yeah. With his
they could have done that.
Arm. Yeah.
At least I would have taken it so over the top you couldn't in any way take it seriously. Next we had SmackDown Women's title bout. Natalya challenging Rhea Ripley. This match was very short. Rhea beat the heck out of Natalya, deadlifted her up for a riptide, and won.
Yeah, Dom was distracting Natalya, and that ref was like, I don't care that she's not paying attention, ring the bell.
Yeah, I know.
And then Rhea wrecked her on the outside, took her in, deadlifted her like you said, and hit the riptide within, I think Fightful said it was 69 seconds. That was something else.
Yeah, it was. Rhea absolutely dominated this bout. Just absolutely dominated. And it was Natalya's birthday today too. So
yeah. Well, from a wrestler, from a performer standpoint, hey, it's your birthday. Guess what? You take one big bump. Yeah,
I know. You got to work a minute, and then you can spend the rest of the day doing what you want to do for your birthday.
Like, what does Natalya care? She's been around forever. She's probably making really good money. Hey, let's make Rhea Ripley look like $1 million here. And it's my birthday. I only have to wrestle for a minute. Cool. Right on. Yeah. I'd feel that one. I'd be like, I'm just going out there for a minute. You got it, brother. Let's make you look good.
The check clears whether you wrestle for a minute or 10.
Right. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Yeah. She ain't getting paid by the minute.
Nope. So then we got a Seth Rollins interview backstage with Byron Saxton. Seth says, because Saxton announces Seth's new World Heavyweight Champion. Seth says, come on, put some stank on it. So Byron does. And Seth says, it's been a long time since I've held World Championship gold. Night of Champions. I'm walking out World Heavyweight Champion. It feels right, doesn't it? The more things change, the more they stay the same. Monday, I'll be on Raw and everyone moving forward. But one thing is different. I've got the World Heavyweight Championship. I've got World Heavyweight Championship things to think about. And he does the visionary thing. And leads. Yeah,
all that good stuff. Yeah. After the interview, we had a video package for Cody and Brock, and then we had Cody and Brock. We talked about this a lot. Of course, Cody Rhodes came out with his Cody Manium cast and arm brace, whatever you want to call it.
Really should have done the fake arm gimmick, I think.
And that would have been interesting. Not quite as dramatic as this.
I don't know if Cody comes out with his robe on, with his arm in a sling, and Brock goes right after the arm and pulls it out of the sling, and it's like, oh my gosh, I pulled his arm off. That's for 10 seconds, he's going to be dazed, bewildered about what just happened. Easy roll-up win for Cody.
Brock would be thinking, oh man, I could put a good rub on this and cook it up.
Yeah, I know. I could put some my seasoning on it.
But no, instead Cody had it in the cast. And the crowd loved it. He was beating the shit out of Brock with his cast. But then Brock got him in the Kimura. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we got more of this now. Yep. Yeah, I know.
It's the D'Lo thing. And D'Lo got heat because he had the reinforced chest protector.
Right, yeah.
But that was fine because D'Lo was a heel.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Why is the babyface using a loaded glove, essentially what he had, to gain an advantage?
Because it's Brock Lesnar. He's a force of nature.
Seth Rollins didn't need a loaded glove or a loaded boot to beat Brock Lesnar.
Again, look at the biggest babyface of all time, Hulk Hogan. Today on Fuck Hulk Hogan Day, we can look back at the history.
Fuck Hulk Hogan Day.
And we can see how he did it. And this is exactly the kind of thing that Hulk Hogan would have done.
I mean, in today's wrestling landscape, I don't know. If your top babyface using a loaded glove to win. And here's another thing.
Oh, no, here we go.
Here's another thing.
Andy Rooney has more.
Usually when they have these metal bits in these braces, it's not like it's completely all metal because it wouldn't form around your arm. Usually there's either a couple thin strips or a medium-sized strip through the middle.
But that's not Cody Manium, man. I know they said it's titanium, but really they didn't get the notice. It's Cody Manium. Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Regardless of that, if you take your broken wrist and you hit someone on the head with it, guess what? It's going to hurt your wrist.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's going to hurt enough that you probably won't do it numerous times or jump off the second or the top rope with the double axe handle.
Yeah. Look, man, listen, I know that we're new to this podcasting thing, but we gotta do
seconds immediately and instantaneously. Maybe
Yeah.
So anyways, but yeah, it's just, as we talked about earlier, I'm just not really into how Cody books his own creative. That's really what it comes down to.
And I kind of feel like he's booking his own shit here, man.
He definitely feels like he's got a huge say in what he does. Yes.
Kind of
most complex contract. Yes.
Yeah. Look, man, it is silliness to the max. And I totally understand your point. And I'm sure there's plenty of people who feel the same way as you do. So I totally get it.
Yeah. So anyways, Cody goes on a run, hits disaster kick, Cody Cutter. He hits a couple crossroads. I mean, it seemed like the crossroads hurt his arms more than punching Brock with the broken arm.
Yeah.
So he goes for a third. Brock counters that with a Kimura. And so Cody's trying to pull himself to the ropes, but Brock is just really cranking that Kimura in.
Oh, my.
So eventually they kind of flip over. So Brock is like sitting atop Cody with the Kimura locked in. Mm-hmm. And he really sinks it in. Cody starts to fade. Ref lifts his arm. Cody starts to Hulk out. He eventually grabs the bottom rope.
Oh, that crowd went crazy for the rope grab too.
And so Brock lifts up Cody for an F5. Cody escapes that, hits the crossroads, gets a 2 count. I thought Cody was going to win right there, by the way. So then Cody starts hitting Brock over and over again with his cast. Brock just lifts him up F5. Mm-hmm. Cody kicks out of that. So Brock locks on another Kimura. Cody again tries to roll through, but now Brock's just basically sitting on Cody with the Kimura locked in. Cody passes out. Then Brock wouldn't let go. I was like, oh no, they're going to reverse the decision because Brock's not letting go of the hold.
Yeah.
But no, he let go, and then they play his music, and then he won.
Firmly won the match, yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on where you stand, either good stuff or just completely ridiculous stuff. After that, we have a Ronda Rousey video package hyping up that women's fatal 4-way tag match coming up on Raw on Monday. And then we see Omos in the crowd. Mr. Dope was really happy to see him there. And then we had our main event, Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. Man, Sammy, the reaction he got, I think Nick Kyle had said that Sammy's entrance robe was called a dash dish or a dish dash. I forget which one it is. Don't want to be disrespectful, but it was cool for him to wear, the local garb down to the ring. It really,
Dish dasha.
Okay. All right. No, that was really awesome. And the reaction he got from the crowd. There we go. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that.
And then, getting to do his own introduction after Heyman did the introduction for Roman and Solo. Sammy getting to do his and Kevin Owens in Arabic.
Yeah, that was terrific. And
that was pretty awesome.
Roman being kind of confused. Roman absolutely going overboard with the heel stuff was, the arrogance of this man. Yeah.
See, that's the level of ridiculousness that I appreciate.
Well, there you go. See? Yeah. Something for everybody.
Because he was really over the top with with his facials and his reactions to stuff, but it's perfect for him.
It was very old school. It was awesome.
It was great. It was great.
And it was a while. It was Sammy and Solo started the match. Solo was in the match for a long time.
Yeah.
And until Roman got in, and I think it was Roman and Kevin Owens. They both got the tag in. Just really, really good stuff. We sort of talked about the finish a bit. A typical Bloodline ref bump.
Yeah.
And then so that led to. Let's see here. So Sammy sets up a haluva kick to Solo. Where was the ref bump here? Solo tags
is when Roman gets in to break up that haluva kick, and it goes for a spear on Sammy. Sammy sidesteps, and the ref eats that spear completely.
Sammy goes for a Superman punch of his own, hits that, sets up for a haluva kick, but runs into a Superman punch instead. Kevin Owens hits then a spear on Roman. Kevin Owens sends him into the announce desk, and then into steps. He clears a table and sets Roman on one. He's going to do his splash onto the table, but the Usos attack Kevin Owens instead. They super kick Kevin Owens, and they push the announce desk on top of him. They hit double super kicks on Sammy, but then they miss the double team one because they do like one of each. Then they miss the double team one, and they take out Solo instead. Roman's pissed, and he didn't notice. He gets in there. He pushes Jimmy. Jay tries to calm it down, but Roman does the same to him. Jay sort of touches him. Roman's like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. He says, no more day one shit. No more of that. Out of nowhere, Jimmy kicks him with a super kick. And Jay's like, immediately, like you said, he sort of goes into the defensive position, the emotional defensive position.
He kind of goes in and out of it. That's
he does because he's like, is this my freedom? Is this my moment?
Yeah.
He's been so manipulated by this son of a bitch.
Yep.
And then that's, we already mentioned this, Jimmy screaming, I'm doing what you should have done a long time ago. But it isn't like an accusatory. It's like, it's almost like I was wrong and you were right. We should have done this a long time ago. Mm-hmm. He's giving Jay the validation that he should have given him back then.
Yeah.
And then he says, me and you, I'm your brother, not him. And because he had super kicked him again. He was like, we got to go. So they split, and you see Jay, and he's torn. He's torn.
Yep.
So Roman is out. Solo is in the ring. He turns right into a stunner. Oops, get out of here. And then a haluva kick, and then an official comes down and counts 3. And there's your winner, Sami Zayn. And Roman looked like he wanted to cry afterwards. Yeah. He's looking, he's just staring. He cannot believe what just happened.
Yep.
And Sammy's in his face.
He's in the turnbuckle, like
yeah,
showing off the tag titles.
He's showing them off. And earlier during the introductions, Roman Reigns had given him a nut shot with the belt, like a little nut check with the belt. He swung it in front of his nuts.
Yeah.
And so Sammy's just being so shitty to him. Man, this was good stuff.
It was great. It was really great. And then eventually Roman gets up and he Heyman's literally pouting behind Roman.
Yeah.
So Heyman is solo follow Roman, and he eventually just kind of brings himself to walk up the ramp, just devastated. Betrayal.
Yep.
Betrayal.
Yeah. Michael Thomas here in YouTube chat says, never forget, it was Jimmy in that guillotine choke 3 years ago that made Jay say, I quit. Jimmy's always had an axe to grind with Roman. He seemed to bury it for a while, but
while the getting was good, Jimmy was fine.
While they had all 4 of those titles between the 2 of them.
Yeah, when things were going well, it was all good.
Things were
but
pretty
once there's
good,
cracks, then it's okay. Now I see my place in all this, and Jimmy's like, enough.
Yeah.
I deserve more than this.
Yeah,
I don't deserve to be treated this way. And Jay's just thinking about all the time, about all that he went through. And he wants to spare Jim. He's always kind of wanted to spare Jimmy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The humiliation, the manipulation, the all the beat downs. And it's got to the point where Jay just couldn't play peacemaker anymore.
Yep. Good stuff. I do have a couple of question threads. We can go burn through some questions if you want to hop on the Patreon. Of course, patreon.com/Steven Larson. And if you click join on the YouTube. And also want to mention this. We have an 8-way tie right now for the Big Blue Predictions Challenge. Yep. So, of course, heading into both Battlegrounds and Double or Nothing tomorrow.
A lot of
points still on the board. Good start for bunch of the Friendos, who I think are like 31 points right now.
Yeah, 31 is the top score right now. Yeah,
and 112 is the top you can get including the advantage for the 4 people who got the advantage. Yes. Let's see here. John Hosey says, who should be the next team to challenge Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the tag championship? And should they separate the titles? I think they should. I don't know if they're going to. I mean, they should.
Yeah, they definitely should. They definitely should. Yeah. They definitely should.
Next team to challenge for them, I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of tag teams on Raw right now.
Like maybe
the Raw tag division is loaded.
Judgment Day already sort of did, though.
Yeah, there's no... no, they got the pin over. They beat Sammy and Kevin in the build-up to this, so they should get first crack at the tag titles.
There you go, then. There you go.
Alex Foster asked, if Jay and Jimmy return to SmackDown next week, what disguises should they get, and what name should they go by? So they need to get into the arena because next week on SmackDown is Roman's 1,000-day championship celebration.
Yeah.
So what disguises should they wear? What name should they assume to gain access to the building without being noticed by Roman?
Clay.
Good.
Instead of Jay. And
Timmy.
Yeah. Yeah, Clay and Timmy Russo.
Good. And what disguise?
Russo,
good.
What
members of the creative team?
Come on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Groucho glasses and the
there you go.
Mustache.
There you go. Yeah.
That works for everybody. Or man, you've never seen? Have you ever watched? I think we should leave, or I think you should leave. Well, you'd know it if you saw it. There's one where like a dude, the main dude, they're doing like a prank show. It's a skit show. They're doing like a prank show, and the guy puts on like this ridiculously horrible like one of those latex masks you can get.
Yeah. Oh, and, I think I've seen that.
He's in like in a mall. Yeah,
I've seen that. Yeah.
And the guy starts freaking out because it's too hot and heavy in there. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to take this off.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that is a funny show. Anyways, Zyshon says, who do you think should be the first challenger for Seth?
Oh, that's what Nikyle asked here too.
There's a lot of them there on Raw.
I know.
Heel Drew.
That'd be good. That'd be really good.
Yeah.
Cruz here asks, with Night of Champions over, power rank the 6 premium live events this year. Rumble, Chamber, Mania's Night 1 and 2, Backlash, Night of Champions.
Man. It's been a good run of premium live events.
It has.
It's been a really good run.
I'd probably say Mania Night 1.
What did that end with? Oh, the tag.
Owens and Zayn winning the tag titles. Gosh.
I'd say probably Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that was a good show.
and then the
Rumble was really good.
And then like maybe Mania Night 2 and then Backlash.
Okay.
I don't know. They've all been good. I think Mania Night 2 is a little wonky.
Yeah.
So maybe Mania Night 2 is last.
Blake Whitehouse. We kind of talked about this. What do you do with Mustafa Ali now? Send him to SmackDown so he can challenge Theory for the U.S. title
and win it. Yeah. Let's see here. So Clown says, with Cody being a 5-star comedy match and the main event top-notch super best storytelling and it being an overall good premium live event, have the B shows become A shows under Triple H? I think they're just making these things as loaded as possible.
Yeah.
Which is what they should have been doing for decades.
I know. They shouldn't be glorified episodes of Raw or SmackDown. They should actually be noteworthy events unto themselves. Noah here says, do we think it'll be Usos versus Roman and Solo at Money in the Bank and then Roman defends at SummerSlam, or the other way around?
No, I think it's
probably
the tag match at Money in the Bank, because Money in the Bank is going to be like, that's going to be like the title thing, you know? It's like, oh, that's a big deal. Ryan Chad, how do we fix the women's brand title problem? You just do, you know, it'd be cool. You just do it. You have Asuka missed Rhea while they're doing the title swap.
Oh,
that'd be sick.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah,
man.
That's the way to make it noteworthy. Yeah,
right. Exactly. Do that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do a title swap, then make it like you said, noteworthy. Make it an interesting moment. Make it a fun moment. Yeah. They could give new names to the women's title. Part of me thinks, nah, you don't need to do that, because like the men's titles aren't brand specific. The women's titles are, and it sort of keeps them separate in terms of their, you know, it's not like women's Universal Championship. No, it's I mean, it's a Raw women's title, you know. They could just call it the Raw World Championship and the SmackDown World Championship.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know Triple H tried to do that with the NXT title like years ago.
Yeah.
And then like there was weird pushback to it because they're like, oh, why are you not, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's all the questions I got here.
Same. Well, thanks to everybody for hanging out with us. The weekend's not over. We've got AEW's Double or Nothing. Tomorrow night we'll be live streaming our reactions to that. If people want to be watching NXT at the same time and commenting on that, we'll comment on that as well. Yes. So be sure to join us tomorrow for AEW's Double or Nothing. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Out on the YouTube. We're still up on the Twitch. We're going to find somebody to
we have some subs here real quick. We got Josh Fields. I'll get to these real quick. Maggie gifting a sub. John Fear and Love with some bits. And the Burrito Day with the sub. Thank you for the
Burrito Day. That's awesome. Let's see here. Oh, Big Willie's on. It's been a while since we've rated him. We'll rate Big Willie. Okay. He's playing something called River City Girls 2, so go give him our best. I don't know. It's been a while since I've noticed him on Twitch, so I don't know if he still does wrestling stuff, but he did a lot of Japanese wrestling stuff back in the day. So go give him our best.
Yep. Goodbye, everybody.